Order.
Approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
And second,
Just take a vote on that quick, Bob.
What's that?
You need to just take on that quick.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Looks like visitor comments. Is Stephanie gonna be in?
And Abby doesn't seem to be with us either. Abby sent me a message that Stephanie hadn't been returning her texts or emails. So she was questionable whether or not she'd be.
So do we have one?
We got 4 right now. I'm looking at this.
Oh, so
Yeah, we only have
We only
four.
have 4.
We need Abby.
Yeah. Apologies for you got you into the minutes. already. Do we have 7 on or do we have 9 spaces though? We have 9.
Yeah, 2
Two
vacancies and 2 are not here, so that's 4.
Yep.
I texted Abby with the link.
Just gonna pause our recording quick then. All right, here we go.
All right, we approve the minutes again or no?
Yeah, just take one more vote. So Abby, we're on approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
I'll make a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ray.
I,
Right. Visitor comments.
I
Was
don't,
Stephanie gonna come here? Stephanie?
Stephanie was going to join or be on Zoom, but I don't see her, but I'll turn to Abby. I know she's been involved in some conversations there.
yes, the hope was for her to get on today. However, she had a family emergency, so she is actually going to be traveling today to where she needs to be. So she said she will definitely be on the next one to explain everything. But as of right now, it's all a go. We're good.
Great.
Yeah. Old business. Holiday treat lighting event that goes along with the singing. We kind of got that lined up, so.
The only thing, we still don't know an exact time. We talked about it last month that we would decide this month.
That's kind of on Stephanie when she's gonna be getting her singer there. We typically in around 4 that we start with this and then it gets dark around 5.
I know, we always say dusk, but do you remember what time? Because it was real low key last
It
year.
was because the art fair was there, not the little gazebo Webster Arts event, and then they had just packed up. So it was almost 5, I think,
That's what I thought.
last year.
Yeah.
Clicked them on 4:40 something.
I know that last month Abby said that Stephanie wanted 45 minutes to do whatever they're singing.
I mean, maybe say 4 o'clock and then they sing for 45 minutes and click it on them.
That makes sense to me. Do you guys, everybody good with that?
I'm good with that. I'll let
Yeah,
her
let's-
know.
Okay, then we'll say 4 o'clock.
So I'll circle back with everyone. I'll just double check. I don't have them here, the Webster Arts, if they're in that, on the gazebo square that day, just to make, when their event ends. so
Yeah,
that
what
you
day
can-
there's,
Exactly, so I'll just send that out to you all so you can have it.
I haven't done the specials activities permit either because I needed a time, so.
Sure.
Okay. And rooftop lighting, Colin, you're just waiting, and then is there anybody else that?
So just a couple quick updates. Holland has repairs. We'll get those taken care of before your event, certainly. So I will double down on that. Strive has not responded to John Barr's request either. So he does have another electrician coming to give him a quote on, if I understood it, his email correct, Fran, I'll look at you as well, complete replacement
Yeah,
along his buildings and I think the entire south side of that. the street,
right, from
correct?
Frisco all the way down to Me Too You, the
Right.
new, what used to be Webster Walk.
So we will, because of the volume of that, need to get some other bids to, satisfy the procurement laws on that. So we'll be getting some bids if we're looking at doing that all the way down. Now, certainly, your finances are great. You've got strong finances if you're really looking to replace that whole piece. So
Okay.
that's where we're at.
Gazebo concert series update.
2 left.
Jake's Leg is Friday.
That'll be the biggest
Yeah,
one,
it'll
the
be
biggest
big.
crowd.
We had a rain out with
Diesel Island was
Diesel
rained out.
but last week was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. And a kind of an odd not a real popular group, but they had a good showing and people
Mm.
seemed to enjoy it.
Good night too. I can't make it Friday night. Be there in spirit. New business.
So I'll bring up Murdoch and Big Bend.
Yeah.
So our good friend of mine left here.
So I asked that this topic get put on the agenda. I had an upset employee in reference to that intersection and trying to cross, contacted the police department and said, hey, this is pretty bad. What can be done? Kind of a thing. Now, keep in mind, I didn't know this, that he was doing this. They were kind and responded back almost immediately saying, we would love to be able to do something other than enforcing it. It's a county road. So the employee decided to contact the county and said that this intersection is dangerous. Can something please be done? I'm paraphrasing everything. They came back and said, we typically restripe things and repaint. We'll put it down as something to repaint. However, all the signage and everything is visible. And basically it's fine. So it's been brought up before, but I don't know. I know that there was a traffic study that was done not long ago. If I know that there was something running across that road, but on a personal level, I've been hit about half a dozen times. And if at that corner, if you stand there waiting to cross from the animal hospital over to the music and cross Big Bend that way, I have to literally watch that window in the music store to see if the people to Murdoch are turning and are stopping, because if there's a car getting ready to turn onto Murdoch, eye contact with that person, I have to inch out because somebody's coming and they can't see me here. And you almost get clipped from the buses. So the question is, this is what can we do? What can we do as a city? What can we put pressure on the county? Can we do? It's bad. And it's, I mean, we have about 100 staff members. They're not allowed to park in the lot. Only certain people are. So they're parking in the public lot behind. We used to, yes, park over where Frisco is before it became what the success that it is. And then the whole Frisco line, we compete, our staff members compete with Webster University. So it's pretty bad. And I don't know what can be done, but we're getting to the point, and I know John's had issues closer down by him, but we're getting to the point now where, I mean, what can we do? Do we need to do something? Can the city pressure the county? I mean, I know, what can we invest in, even like simple, those blinking stop lights like Webster University has, where somebody gets ready to cross, they hit the button, they blink. So I don't know what our options are, but no offense, I am tired about getting hit. And the police can't monitor that all the time. I know, they have other things to do and they do the best they can, and they have busted people, I know that, but when I get an employee that's now taking matters into their own hands, I think it's time we have a serious discussion. So
What's the possibility of asking this county for a stop light, a traffic light, because those cars come every 12 seconds and you can't cross anywhere along there because they're coming every.
We can always ask. I don't, not being an engineer, I don't know the standard for what would, when things demand a stoplight and such. Just to back up in scope, we've had similar issues. Actually, I think John's family has talked about people across the front of Weber's there, and the speed people come around Old
Yeah.
Orchard onto Big Bend, Murdoch and Laclede across the bridge, and trying to get folks across there farther down. And then, and I'll certainly turn to the police as well, just in general, people speed, and how we approach driving these days. But also then, and this is one thing that Chief Curtis has brought up to me, and because when I first came, I was like, well, let's put up the flashing, stopping, the pedestrian signs or the things in the middle of the road, and such. And it's been real interesting, a learning curve for me about the false sense of security that pedestrians get out of things that don't necessarily slow down traffic. So I'm not pushing back on anything. I'm saying, I don't know what the right answers are, but there's a lot of concern with the whole stretch, and speeds all the way through. I mean, even right here on Lockwood.
I can say from that, I know, Eric, I mentioned to you that I had a friend whose son was struck on a bike by a car at Laclede and Murdoch, and what the conversations I've had with folks about that intersection is about the lights and about the timing and not really allowing any pedestrian time, right? So like, that's the conversation that we've been trying to start kind of with the county, but there's, I think, a lot more to that in terms of pedestrian safety in general in that whole area. So yeah, I'm definitely in favor of whatever we can do to kind of get the county to come to the table and talk about what our options are. Short of that, though, I don't know that the city has too many too many options to offer. I don't know, Eric, you were better versed on that, but
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's some options to think about and such, right? This is really a conversation in some ways with traffic advisory and with chief, and, certainly I'll invite our officer here to opine in any way he wants, but trying to figure out how to get that whole area, to allow some pedestrian movement, because sooner or later, some buildings are gonna be popping up here and there, I mean, things are gonna happen. Old Orchard's a place to be. And you've got some potential. We're gonna have to figure out pedestrian flow in some way. So I do think, I think it is great. We should have conversations with the county and bring them in. I know Councilwoman Clancy has been involved in some of the conversations about Big Bend and Old Orchard, has been contacted and is aware of that. So I think it's a natural progression to really expand that whole conversation about how do we cross Big Bend in a safe way at these intersections, and what type of intersection, right? I mean, when I first pulled up to Murdoch, when I first got here, I was like, just the right way to move people, across this. And I don't know what the answer is. It felt like, is there a different type of intersection? I'm not saying roundabout. I want to be very clear. So I don't want to be accused. Well, I like roundabouts too, but I don't want to get so I think we can certainly do that. I do want to, I don't know if you, officer, have anything you want to play on that, but
I know last year they recently installed, or as of last year, right by Balkan Creek Box, large crosswalk signs that were flashing at one point, if I remember correctly.
That's been a long time ago. I mean, like real lights that were flashing.
I don't know the exact dimensions, but they did install, because we weren't told. We just randomly saw them one day because they're huge, bright yellow crosswalk signs right at Balkan Tree Box and Frisco right there. They didn't, I don't think they lined it out though, but it's an issue with it being a county road. And I don't know what the city had to do to get county to even install that, because sometimes it seems like even with our recommendations, with all the traffic and everything else, we don't know what we're talking about. But I know county takes certain considerations in as far as with traffic studies, how many accidents, how many I guess the surveys, how many traffic accidents, they take everything in consideration. I think the one thing they don't take in consideration is the amount of foot traffic in that area, especially with businesses. And I don't know if there's a way that county monitors pedestrian traffic.
not that I'm aware of, so.
Their actual response says, please be advised that the policy of the department to repaint all uncontrolled and marked crosswalks during the summer months of each year. The large painted white blocks with highly reflective glass beads embedded in the paint at the crosswalks at the intersection of Big Bend Boulevard and Log Cabin Lane, North Orchard Avenue will be refreshed as soon as possible. A field investigation revealed that the highly reflective yellow quote pedestrian crossing warning sign assemblies, each with a downward arrow plaque, along eastbound and westbound Big Bend Boulevard at the crosswalk, and the highly reflective yellow advanced pedestrian crosswalk warning sign assemblies, each with a head plaque, clearly remain visible to approaching motorists in each direction. And that was.
Yes. No, I mean, I do know that the county does come through and
Yeah.
repaint. I mean, we certainly see that, and the signs are there. I think this really speaks in some ways to. We have a great conversation going on about traffic calming all across the city,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the ultimate reality is a lot of drivers, we ignore the hell out of signs. Unfortunately, so, I mean, I do. I mean, I'm going too fast down Big Bend when it looks wide open, and, I need to be able to stop. And so I do think that there is that just conversation about driving is just, we're fast now. And
The new changes that we're doing coming from down by Holland side in, isn't that intersection going to change a little bit? Is there a center lane that's getting ready to be put in on that? I can't remember what the new drawing was, because I thought there was gonna be. I thought there was
You're
some
talking down
change.
on Big Bend. coming
Yeah,
in.
when we're doing all that new skate that we're doing, that we're paying for and the. I
Well,
thought
so
they-
we wouldn't be paying for the center lane.
No, but I thought something, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought there was
I haven't-
something in the design that might have changed.
If
there
they were
was
gonna,
talk about
if,
it.
well, they may have talked about it. If they're gonna
Okay.
put a center turn lane in, that will change the parking dynamic along the,
Yeah, and I just can't, I know a lot of that was discussed. I just don't remember what the final.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about the road, just the sidewalks.
right.
Okay,
So I mean, however you want to take this conversation, I'm all in favor of continuing it and pulling together a meeting from county and also trying to get a sense from Chief Curtis and others, Captain Perch, what are some appropriate tools that the city
what
could
do we
deploy?
need to do? I wanted to start the conversation because I too am about tired of getting hit.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I've almost been rear-ended waiting for
Yeah.
pedestrians.
Right.
I was teasing the fire department when they're out there doing their collection. I'm like, well, you guys are putting your life in your own hands here.
Well, every time I see the fire department there, I'm like, ooh, that's a tight intersection. That's like standing in
Listen,
the.
now that you're all out here right now, I feel a little bit better. At least somebody's gonna see you before they're gonna see me. But, well, thank you, whatever it's time.
We could make no left turns there and just send everyone.
Hey, trust me, it only takes once of almost being hit to agree with all of that. I'm
Right.
happy with that. Good serious.
All right.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you want us, so you want us to pull together a sort of preliminary meeting and we can,
Yeah,
Work on-
I don't,
yeah.
if we could figure out who to talk to there and say,
Yeah, and if
Just a-
you need me, let me know. I'll
Okay.
be happy to come and
sure,
raise the ruckus, whatever we need to do, and I'm sure John would be happy to as well. I did reach out to him. He's like, well, I just think the whole thing needs addressed. So,
well, and just to that point, there is a pool of funds that the council set aside for traffic calming, pedestrian, bicycle improvement, so it's a pool that's there, I think, to address these types of things as they come up. So I mean, if there is ultimately, well, certainly a county road, but if there is a city side of it, just so you know, there's resource available. It's really a matter of what's the best use of resource, right? And what's gonna, hopefully provide some behavior change, so.
yeah, it seems like the county needs to, I mean, we can put up all the stuff on the side, but something has to be done with those lights and stop signs, but Vulcan tree flies coming out of there is crazy.
well,
There's
I-
always cars parked in front of there where, you can't see going, you can't see around them if it's that people pop out.
well, I know didn't they do that traffic study? All right, correct. It was really recently because we bought the cleaners, so,
There is a traffic study that's been done. I don't know
Yeah,
where the
curious.
results are at, so
yeah,
we'll ask about that.
we're probably gonna say it's not big enough for a stoplight.
I'm sure there's something
Otherwise, they
along
probably
those
would
lines,
have
yeah.
already been in. Thank you.
Problem.
Move on to trick or treating and Webster Roads.
Yeah, it's almost October. I'm gonna have to query everybody. You guys said you did want to participate, correct?
Mhm.
Last year we did a map. And I'm sorry, I don't remember who did it. Mara used to do it for us.
I think that Mara did it for us nicely one last time.
So then we're in a position of needing somebody to do the map.
Who did the map last time?
Mara
I thought
did.
Mara did.
I think you're right. That rings a bell.
Hmm.
I mean, I can reach out to the graphic artist that did all the work on the gazebo series, but she's not free.
We could probably reprint from Mara's, right, and just add who, maybe.
What, you have people that participate that are new, that weren't there or don't do it again. It doesn't change a lot, but
Fran, could you find out what program she uses?
sure.
Yeah, if you can find out what program she uses that it might just be some simple editing to add and delete some businesses. I'm not volunteering. I don't have those skills, but I might know some people, or I might say we have to hire somebody, but at this moment, if you can get me that information, I'll try.
Okay. Will do.
Holland, that sure sounded like volunteering. I just gotta
No,
say.
I'm clarifying. It is not volunteering. I'm willing to do the research.
She
And
was
then
real
we'll go from
specific,
there.
wasn't she?
I know better.
I might be able to help you depending on what the program is.
Yeah.
Okay.
You missed the vote last week, but you're the new president of the organization.
Damn it.
Okay,
All right, Old Webster's use of Santa's mailbox.
yes, they would like to request using it at their open house again. You guys don't use it till December, so it went over really well last year. But I didn't want to assume,
I'm good with it.
Of course.
So they would start it up there, whoever
Right.
gets it out would start up there.
and then they take it from there to.
They break, they buy. That's the rule. No.
Don't tempt them. okay?
I think every-
We bought it now, so now you guys have to ask us.
They break, they repair.
That's for all the kids that try to break in. I think.
Yes,
So we're good with that then. And we'll move on BDC update.
BDC update, I think I updated you all last month, but workinwebstergroves.com is launched. It is launched, meaning it is up, but we should have our announcement up this week. hopefully. But this is a result of the business roundtable and the surveys that the BDC update was doing. And really what they heard from owners was, business owners, was that getting help employees is a number one concern. Recruiting employees. So the city has created a free job board for all businesses, nonprofits and such in the city. You can all, if you go to workinwebstergroves.com, there's a form as a business owner, you just throw your details about the job in it, and the city will post it. So our first, and that will be a public posting. It's like Indeed here in Webster Groves. The business, the first couple months here are going to be intense on business marketing, reaching out to all of you and to your colleagues to really utilize it to get a sense of scale, to make sure that this is a service that is workable. And then the BDC will look at some of those first couple months results and really then concentrate on what are we doing to market the availability of this farther out, right? And so I would encourage you all, you'll get, again, hopefully this week or early next week, the email from the city, and then probably some postcards as well and things to really use that to send in a job opening. Could be internship, could be jobs, part-time, full-time, all the options are there. And then use that posting so that we get a sense of involvement from the community. So then we can then really build the marketing plan. So I do think, I certainly don't want to speak for BDC. The council ultimately decides this, but this is probably a $25,000 to $40,000 type of marketing investment, type of a branding scheme. So workinwebstergroves.com. It's on the city's website, but that will be the branded name, workinwebstergroves.com. We did put some city job openings up there to help fill it up so you can all see what it'll look like. But we encourage you to do that. And then they'll be partnering with Webster U, working on getting job board connections there as well, so that you can bring students in and such along the way. So we're trying to build that local resource as a service, again, completely free to the business community in Webster Groves.
Very cool. That it for BDC?
That's it for BDC.
All right, city update.
City update, I'm going to share just a couple things. Our business license report for August is up on our website. You'll all be able to see that, but we have some new businesses around the way. And then we did have two closures, reported. Business licenses, these are obviously newer businesses, maybe some renewals in there as well that are coming in a little late. I did want to point out that a new state law is passed, and home-based businesses now do not have to pay a business license. So the state has preempted the city on collecting that from home-based businesses. So just to point that out, that when we do renewals this upcoming year, we'll also be notifying home-based businesses of that change. City doesn't like that decision, and will probably be advocating at the legislature about that, but that will impact business license revenue and could possibly, for some of the business districts with that touch of residential and things, could affect a little bit of your own revenue. So. And then I wanted to just spin into property taxes, because we just had the hearing for property taxes, the first hearing, and we'll on Tuesday, the 20th, finalize the rates. Wanted to point out for Old Orchard, here's your valuation, your assessed value went up slightly in your residential and down slightly in your commercial value. Now, this is not surprising, because every 2 years is really when we see the move, because they didn't assess this year, right? So you get a slight change in your value. And I'm going to scroll. This is all available on our finance website, but I'm just going to scroll ahead a couple quick slides here. And this is the rates that we anticipate seeing for the district. So your residential property is going to stay at the same tax rate. Your commercial rate went up per $100 in value. So these, again, the rates are set by the council. I'll be clear how we get to those rates. There's a form. We get all this information from the state, from the county. We put that into a special form from the state auditor's office that then calculates that rate. We send that all into the state auditor's office. They check it, make sure it's legal, send it back to us. That's what the council approves. So that is that. And then on that same page, I just wanted to take a moment. I'm hoping this will pop up and share. It didn't do so well at the council meeting, but see if we give it a moment here. We have 2 maps that are up to date now on our website. This is assessed property value. So you can see some really high spikes here. This is a map that anyone can go to see the value of all the parcels in the city, right? So I'll just click this tall one right here that just goes right off the screen. That's actually Memorial Field, where the city's rec center is. You can see how much property value is there at over $10 million worth of assessed property value in 2021. And then I'm going to do one of these and probably give you all dizziness and such as we spin around. But look at Old Orchard right here. You can see this is your business district right along the edge of town. You can see a property value here. This is Colonial Village and what its value is. So this is one map. You can all go there. I won't spend much time, but then we have another map right beside it on the finance webpage for property taxes that shows you the actual property taxes paid. So this is property taxes paid for every parcel in the city. And again, you can see the overall dollar value of property taxes are commercial districts, Old Orchard, Old Webster, here's Crossroads. The darker and taller, the more taxes are paid. The real value in that commercial property in terms of taxation, but then also our residential taxation all the way throughout. So I encourage you to use these. They're just a helpful tool to see how we use land and how much we're getting in taxes out of it. This property right here, this is the Lutheran Manor in Laclede, down on Laclede Station. And then if we look, our actual highest property taxed value is up here on Owen Ridge, up there near the Deer Creek. So, and when you click on, you'll actually get the parcel and it will show you the total values and then also the taxes, the assessment, and let me find paid amount right there at the bottom line. So it shows you for every parcel how much taxes were paid on that parcel. So we did include, and I'll just zoom in here a little bit on Old Orchard since we're all in that area at the moment. Let me just see if I can find, let's go to this one right there. So Bethesda Senior Living, we aggregated if there are individual units. So if a owner's paying $1,000 in property taxes, instead of having a bunch of parcels all there, we aggregated those type of buildings together to give you a full sense of how much taxes they're paying. So 149,000 from Bethesda. So this is available to you all. You're welcome to use it. And I encourage you to do so if you're ever curious. And we got to thinking about this, obviously coming out of Douglas Hill, how land is used and values and such, but also we saw a great question about Algonquin. People are like, I hear they're taxed like an agricultural piece of land, and we have none, but this allows us to show folks what taxes are being paid and such, and hopefully dispel some rumors, but also give people a real sense of the value of land that we don't tax, but also the values of lands that we do. So it's all on our website for us all to use and as you need. I don't have anything else, so I'll turn it over if you have questions, and then have the officer and Councilmember Richardson.
What's going on with the Subaru? Fair question, there and then across the street.
Fair question. So we don't have anything filed to move forward on. I was hoping that something would come in, and we have had
Yeah,
nothing.
because didn't we get a letter about something about that property? About an auto repair? Is that where that? What did I get?
Not at that one. I don't remember.
I'll have to look.
You know, potential business.
Yeah, about coming to, that there's gonna be discussion, that it was open for discussion at a meeting. Maybe Dr. Love, who's the owner, said, hey, something's going on with that here. I'm like, okay, I don't.
Not that I'm aware of. So
Okay. If you would be aware, I'm sure, so I'll
we
try
tried
to.
to. So, officer, any report?
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Richardson.
I'll just mention that we are in the process of appointing the Charter Review Advisory Board. which you'll hear lovingly referred to as CRAB. Which will be nine residents of the city who will be tasked with taking a good hard look at our city charter and making recommendations to the council about changes that they might like to see. And that's based on the vote that the citizens took a couple of cycles back to decide whether or not to review the charter every few years. So the vote was an overwhelming yes, let's review the charter. So this is how that is done. So stay tuned for recommendations coming out of that. It'll be possibly interesting. Be a pretty intensive process for them for the next year. And outside of that, we're focused on trying to assist the residents who are impacted by flooding and trying to decide kind of how the city can support them in a responsible way. And lots of city staff time has been given to trying to help connect them to resources, help them kind of navigate the process. It's a tricky process. So huge thanks to city staff who've just been really knocking it out of the park in terms of the dedication and hours these last several weeks, really all year, but but especially on this topic. So but yeah, we're always fun things happening, and would love to see anybody who ever wants to come to council meetings. Or if you ever have any questions, I'm here.
All right. Next meeting, October 11th.
Can I ask a quick question real quick if we're kind of wrapping up? I'm sure there's bylaws and things to read somewhere. I know we seem to always be struggling with numbers for quorum with our group in particular. Is it only one person for a business that can serve on the board, and or if I'm not available, is there another person who's from my staff that could serve? I'm just trying to think of how to help us right now, if I could.
So Holland, on that question, it's in chapter 4 of the municipal code, so we'll send that out. It comes out of state law. It's in our chapter 4 municipal code and boards and commissions. The answer is every commission is different. The way we wrote those codes differently. But right now, the city council is doing a review of all the board and commission sections. And what I can tell you is the recommendation from that subcommittee, they haven't finalized their work, but it is likely going to be standardizing all 3 business districts into a 7-member board on each, which will, certainly that's going to lower your quorum from 5 to 4. Just simply go to 7 members. But then also we have to allow anyone who owns property or is a business owner by state law. But we can expand that to include an employee of a business and also then a resident. They may not be a property owner, but they theoretically pay the taxes through the way the business district works. So those are recommendations are going to take and that we made as staff, and that they were, the council was really agreeable to. Because Crossroads has the same issue. We can have multiples from the same business on. I mean, you could all be a business commission of Weber's. I mean, the entire staff could be, Weber's Front Row Business District Commission, but so that's not a problem. It's all a matter of who the council will appoint. But there is, and I'm not speaking on anyone here, but attendance is always a concern, right? I mean, that's just every month it doesn't matter what size we are, just can you make it or not? So we have got a set meeting schedule, and I know we'll bring that up next month to you all for 2023 and such, but that's really a conversation. I mean, if this time doesn't work for you, if this is, needs to move, we can talk about that because we'll find the time that works. Just because of the way we've always done it, we don't have to keep doing it that way. So I don't know if that helped answer your question.
It does. Yeah. I just was wondering, we've just been able to hire a few more people, and I've got somebody who's kind of interested, but I like serving on it as well. And so I just didn't know if there was, seen as pushing interest if you had 2 people from the same business or something like that, or if they could go on and put their name ahead if we're still looking for numbers to kind of help with our group. But yeah, just wanted to check.
No, it's completely legal and such. I don't think the council's probably encountered that moment yet. So they may have a question or 2 about it, but there's nothing that stands in the way as a prohibition against that.
Great. Thank you.
I did approach Amy at Cake Pops, and she didn't seem too excited about it.
Oh,
She's probably too busy or something.
Did you offer her some bourbon when you suggested it? Cause,
No, I bought a couple cake pops, they're pretty good.
Oh,
Did
well,
you bring
that-
a
that
whole
should've
pork
worked.
sandwich in with you, you know, right?
I actually have a question. Like Helen, I do have an employee that would be very interested in doing this also. But aside from that, I don't know, this is totally off topic, but I don't know if you guys know of any buildings that are going up in Webster that are for sale. We're looking for about 20 to 40,000 square feet. I didn't know, I know the Subaru dealership, we did look into that. However, I would love it. The price point for us is just a little too high for what it is right now. So is there, if you guys know of anything, if you can reach out to me, that would be amazing. But we are looking at, a very large space.
Anything else? All right, then next meeting set for October 11th. You all good with that? Yeah. Great. And motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Got a second by Holland.
I'm on second, but you didn't have everything. I saw her.
I just need to take a quick look.
Was
All in
that
favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thanks all.
I gotta run.
Thanks, everybody.
See